Greetings, GISD community. This is Dr. Stewart with another Student Spotlight. Today, I have with me Kinsler Dodson, 5th grade student here at Gainesville Intermediate School. Kinsler, how you doing this morning?
Good.
Awesome. Thank you for joining me.
It's nice.
Well, let's jump right into our questions, okay? Tell us about your family. Your mom, dad, brothers, sisters, pets.
Okay, so my mom, she's a teacher here at Gainesville. My dad, he works from home. My sister, she goes to the high school here in Gainesville. I don't have a brother, but my dog, she's a brown boxer, and she's lazy pretty much.
She likes to lay around the house?
Yep.
Awesome. All right. What do you like to do for fun when you're not in school?
I'll probably go over to my friend's house across the street and just hang out.
Mm-hmm. When y'all hang out, what do you do?
And play video games, jump on this trampoline,
So video games is a big thing, especially with students around your age group.
Yeah.
So what is your game of choice? What's your favorite video game?
I like to play on my Oculus, my VR. Mm-hmm. It's this thing I put on my face, and it's like you're in a completely different place.
Okay.
And it's there's screens that your eyes see, but you're just standing somewhere, but you can use your little controllers that you have and just move around in different places. It's just you can do whatever you want pretty much.
Well, I know the whole VR and the Oculus glasses is pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, Kinsler, tell me about something you did this past summer. Did you go on any trips or spend time with any long or distance family members?
Well, this summer I went to Colorado for my sister's softball tournament, but since we go so many different places for those, we do a lot of fun things. This summer I did mountain biking. We rode ATVs and whitewater rafting, and we also went to an amusement park.
Wow, man. I mean, you sounds like an adventure seeker, man. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Awesome. If your mom or dad had to choose one word to describe you, what would they say and why?
Talkative, just because I never stop talking in their words. I never stop talking.
Okay. If you had to eat only one food for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
The Chick-fil-A Cobb salad. I like it because it tastes really good with ranch, and I think it's kind of healthy for you, probably.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with a good salad.
No, you can't.
All right. So, Kinsler, if you entered into a talent show, what would your talent be?
Comedian.
Comedian?
Yeah.
All right. So, let's expound upon that a little bit. Okay. So, you got a good joke?
Yes.
Give me your joke.
Where do math teachers go on vacation?
Where do math teachers go on vacation? I don't know.
Times Square.
Times Square. That's a good one, man. I got to give you. That's a good one. All right. So now, Kinsler, let's talk about school.
Okay.
What do you think is one of the most important qualities for teachers to have?
What I think is the most important quality is for teachers to be soft and stern at the same time.
Talk to me about that.
In moments where your class is just doing something and someone asks you a question, I feel like you just have to be soft and either help them or tell them the answer. And if your class is acting up, I say you have to be stern on that and get them to acting right.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Yeah, you have to take different tactics in order to gain control of your class.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. So who has been your favorite teacher throughout GISD so far?
So there's been 2 teachers. This was a really stressful question because one of my teachers was my aunt, and my favorite teacher is Miss Bryan.
Miss Bryan?
But it was really hard to decide between Miss Prestige and Miss Bryan.
Okay. So with Miss Prestige and Miss Bryan, who are both fabulous teachers, what makes them stick out in your mind as 2 of your favorite teachers?
Well, Miss Bryan, she always just so, everything she said to me, she was just always happy to see me ever since I was in 2nd grade. And everything she said to me was just so memorable. Mm-hmm. It was just so much fun to be around her.
What about Miss Prestige?
Miss Prestige, she's been in my life. She's been in my life. She's been in all my life since she is my aunt, and she was just a really good math teacher, and she was really matching the description of the teacher that needs those specific qualities.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. All right, Kinsler, what is your favorite subject to learn, and why does it interest you?
I like to learn math, and it interests me just because it's always been I've always learned it the best, and it's always just came easiest to me.
I'm telling you, there's something about numbers. And see, I'm the exact same way. Math was always a subject that I thrived in, so much so that I ended up teaching math. So I would say, man, continue to grab a hold of that, because that's having a solid fundamental base, especially in mathematics, can take you a long way. Okay. All right. So speaking of you, the student, what is one thing that you do well as a student?
One thing I do well as a student is respecting my teachers.
Well, being the child of a teacher, that's an expectation, correct? Yeah. All right. So how has your experience been so far this year at the intermediate campus?
It has been fun. It's been fine. I haven't had anything bad happen specifically, but I guess there is the rest of the year to come.
So what is the big difference between this year compared to last year when you were at Chalmers?
Well, there is a lot more to do, and there's a lot more stress to all the work that I have to keep up with. Really, that's all I can think of at this point.
And that, Kinsler, is the natural progression of a student as they get older. So it's kind of like going from when you go from elementary to intermediate. Of course, now you're starting to see an increased workload. When you go from intermediate to junior high, there'll be an increased workload as well. The expectations are even higher, because you think about it, as the older you get, the closer you are to graduating. Yeah. And what our teacher's job is to get you prepared and ready to chase your career ambitions, whether you go off to the armed forces, you go off to college, or you go into the real world. So that's why you see that natural progression as far as the level of rigor and the heightened levels of expectations for our students, especially as they get older.
Yes.
Okay. So do you have any advice for fourth graders coming into intermediate next year?
I do. If you have a bad attitude in fourth grade, I'd say you fix it, because anybody here, any of the teachers, any of the staff, don't joke around. They will not hesitate to send you to the office. You better get your act straight if you don't have any. If you're acting up in fourth grade, you better get your act straight before you come here.
Well said. Well said. So now, one of the big hot topics or hot buttons of discussion this year has been the transition in our schedule. How do you feel about having Mondays off of school, and what do you do on those days?
Well, I like having Mondays off. It definitely decreases the stress of just having 2 days off of school. And what I do on those days, I usually have football practice, or I'm over at my friend's house just doing whatever across the street.
Okay, just hanging out with your buddy.
Yeah.
Okay. So Kinsler, let's talk about the future, because although you're in fifth grade today, you're going to wake up and you're going to be at the high school. Then you're going to blink your eyes, you'll be walking across the stage. And then at that point, as I always tell our students, you're then cast into the real world. Yeah. Are there any particular careers you're interested in pursuing after you graduate from high school?
I'd say probably paleontologist.
Paleontologist? Okay, talk to me about it.
I just feel like studying fossils and dinosaurs and all that has always just been something that I love doing, and it was always just a lot of fun for me to just read books about fossils or dinosaurs or something, and that's just something that I've done since I was little.
Well, awesome. Thank you for sharing. Now, Kinsler, that concludes all the questions that I have for you today.
Okay.
But I've asked you a lot of questions throughout this interview. And so this is the time where I like to give our students an opportunity to ask me any questions that you may have. So, do you have a question you'd like to ask me?
Yes. If you weren't a superintendent or like a teacher, what would you be?
If I were not a superintendent or teacher, what would I be? You know, Kinsler, I grew up, I like yourself, grew up playing sports. I played football, basketball, baseball, soccer, and then later in life got introduced to the game of golf. Uh, I figured I'd be doing something in the sport arena. I'd be a sports agent. That actually was one of my career ambitions, was to become a sports agent. Realizing that every guy that plays or girl that plays a sport, you're not going to go pro. Not, the statistics say, there's a very, very small number of students who reach that pinnacle. The NBA, the NFL, the MLB, PGA, etc. So I wanted to be one of those people who worked behind the scenes. I wanted to be a person who supported the athletes and worked alongside the athletes. Whether it be through marketing, contract negotiations, etc. So that was actually an early career ambition of mine. And then it was in college that I realized that I loved kids, and that's when I kind of dug my feet in the ground and focused all my time and my energy on going through my educational prep program so that I could be a teacher and now superintendent.
Yep.
Great question. Great question.
Yeah.
Well, Kinsler, man, I just want to say thank you for joining me today.
Yeah.
It's been awesome sitting back and getting to learn a little bit more about you. I strongly encourage you to continue to be funny, continue to study hard, and continue to be the well-respected young man that you are.
Okay.
Gainesville ISD community, Kinsler Dodson, 5th grade student here at Gainesville Intermediate School. Thank you.